Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, June 19th, 2025. Standing here at the Upper Bridge in Ellensburg, Yakima River. And you can see today that there's definitely more volume of water that's been pushed into the system. And the river is up. Not running at normal summer flow, of course, but definitely has a much broader, much more volume of water running through it today. We did see, we saw a dump of water Tuesday from the reservoir about midday from the Clay Elm Reservoir. Which has increased the volume. You can see the speed that the river's moving at. So again, you've heard us talk about the drought year that we're in. Definitely not at high summer flow, but for really easy, productive wade fishing, gonna find it somewhat difficult. And you can see now that all the bank grasses are starting to grow up thick, so you'll find that pretty much throughout the entire system of the Upper Yakima. Makes it much more difficult to bank fish with flies. Those that are coming over unexpectedly, throughout the week have been surprised at the high volumes of water, that are moving throughout the river. This is going to happen, over the next couple of months. We're going to see these higher flows throughout the system, basically from the confluence of the Clay Elm River and the Yakima, where they meet, all the way to Rosa. They'll be pulling water out between those 2 points for irrigation for the valley here, but we're still going to see high volumes of water, making it drift boat, rafting, pontoon boat accessible. Wade fishermen, going to be a lot more difficult, but I can give you a couple pieces of advice for wade fishing the Yakima during this summer. One is look for islands that are spread out through the river. These islands, especially these islands that you find that are, in the middle of the river, those typically will break up big main stem flow and push it to the opposite side, where you can access the smaller braided channel with less volumes of water. And a lot of times our summer trout will move into these braided channels because they hold adequate water flow. Nice little pocket water fishing. So you can access these points, and then you can access everywhere around the island and find a lot of good fishing when you're on foot. I would recommend wading staff and studded boots for sure. The river's slippery. Gets slicker every year. Don't want to take a fall out there. And then the other piece of advice is staying above the confluence of the Yakima and the Clay Elm River. The majority of water that comes into the system during the summer all comes from the Clay Elm Reservoir. They dump it into the Clay Elm River, and then it converges with the Yakima just above the town of Clay Elm. So if you stay above that point, you'll find much easier wade fishing. You have to do your homework. You got to get on Google Earth, and find the public access points. There is a boat launch at Ensign Ranch And there's some access around the golf course road, Three Bridges area. Keep in mind, the river law is high water mark, so as long as you're at the high water mark, you're not trespassing. Give property owners, you know, respect. A lot of times if you ask for permission, people will grant that to you. If you see garbage on the river, pick it up. That always helps with landowners. Keeping it clean. It's just the right thing to do. So those are two really good pieces of advice that I can give you if you come over and find the river, you know, at summer flow and you don't have access to a drift boat or other safe river taxi. Still lots and lots of bugs happening, different varieties. There's this morning here I've already seen yellow sallies and caddis flying around. In the afternoons, expect PMDs, green drakes, and still golden stones happening. So you can see all the stonefly shucks on the piling there. You can see that the water has dropped about 6 inches. So we got some weather coming in this weekend. It's going to cool things down. So they've kind of leveled out the water. We're going to see them. We're in pro rationing with the drought, so we're going to see, you know, probably going to see some irregular flows at times, depending on what the weather patterns are, just because of the lack of water in the reservoirs this year. Those that like basin lake fishing, I'm still getting really good reports from Dry Falls that it's been fishing really good, and a lot of the lakes up there in that area are still fishing really well. Although as we move into summer, a lot of those lakes are going to get warm. Some may produce some weed growth too, which makes it extremely difficult and hard on trout. During that summer heat, they tend to go really deep. So probably best to look for other places to fish, unless you're going to fish really early or even night fishing. A lot of them have brown trout in them, and brown trout in lakes and rivers can be very nocturnal feeders. Our good friend Tim Irish used to fish Dusty Lake during the summer months, night fishing for big brown trout. So if you have any questions about summer fishing the next couple months on the river, you can give us a comment here in the YouTube or contact the Pro Shop. We're happy to help. Till then, everybody, hope you have a good weekend, and let's hear from Aron Larsen and see what he has to say about fishing in the Upper River today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Aron here from the Worley Bugger Fly Company, bringing you your weekly Yakima River fly fishing report via the Upper Yakima River. River running about 2850 right now. The last few days kind of been stair-stepping up and down, kind of all over the place. And I think we're going to see a little bit of that this year with the water situation. So I think you're going to see days where they scale back and then days when they ramp up. So unfortunately it makes for less than ideal fishing conditions sometimes, but not impossible. Fishing been pretty consistent. I wouldn't say dynamite, but good. A few quality fish coming in every day and a handful of others. So not dynamite, but not horrible either. Pretty good to mediocre fishing, I would say. Bug-wise, yellow sallies, a few golden stones still kicking around, green drakes, caddis, all out and about, good above and below. Streamer, when you see this river come up in the early and later part of the day, been getting it done as well. Dry dropper and coarse nymphing. Fish moving into that faster water, so stay out of the pondy stuff. Nothing in there other than a few pike minnows. Anyhow, hope everyone's having a fantastic week. Hope to see you out here. Tight lines.